How's it going, guys? I'm your host Caravan Gaming. Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. And for today's video, we will be looking at Cao Cao. That's right, the king of mobility himself, Cao Cao. Okay, he used to be really good for almost everything, especially for rallies and for open field back in KVK Season 1. But now his usefulness has sort of dropped off a bit there from both open field and rallies because of the advent of the newer cavalry commanders like your Genghis Khan, like Saladin, like your Attila Takeda. Nonetheless, he's still useful in some situations, but his usefulness is nowhere as great as it was before. Right now, I would say he is mostly used for speedy stuff, like if you want to get a rune or something, then you would use him because he's one of the fastest, if not the fastest commander that you can get in the game if you have him with the right secondary commander. On top of that, he's also widely used for used as the arc carrier and also for farm killing. Okay, so let us go through his skills first. First skill, Dragon Rider, rage requirement 1000. This direct damage factor 1400 to the target and decreases target's attack by 40% and march speed by 10% for 3 seconds. Okay, so the direct damage factor is I would say it's average. It's not huge, it's not small either, and what is really good here is the attack reduction, 40%, a whopping 40%. To put this into context, this is the same as Constantine's first skill, attack reduction of 40%, and that is huge. So many people forget that Cao Cao actually reduces attack of the enemy by 40%. This is a huge reduction, a huge debuff on the enemy. So Cao Cao is actually a very good debuffer as well against opponents that deal high damage, be your Genghis Khan, be your Attila Takeda, whatever, anything. So you can actually use Cao Cao as a debuffer tool when you are rallying something like a flag or an objective or whatnot. Okay, the march speed reduction 10%. This is more for if you're chasing down someone and you get his skill to proc, then it will be easier for Cao Cao to chase them down. Like say for example, a farm or march that is escaping, you know. Next one, the Tithe Army. Okay, increases the damage on barbarians by 50%. The bard killing skill, really standard, 50%. So that's almost that is like a extra half. Like if you're doing 100 damage, that's extra 50 damage. So this is huge, and Cao Cao is actually really great for killing barbarians as well. But you should not be using Cao Cao for killing barbarians, and I will explain why later. Tiger Knight increases cavalry units march speed by 10% and attack by 30%. The march speed bonus 10% is pretty good. It's not the highest in the game, but I think it's the second highest, so it's actually still decent. What is really good is the attack bonus, 30%, guys, a whopping 30% extra attack bonus. This will just make whatever commander you're playing with dish out, whatever cavalry commander you're playing with, dish out a huge amount of damage. For Cao Cao, obviously you want to use full cavalry. There's no other way around it because most of his skills are cavalry only. Okay, so the fourth skill, Lofty Ambition, troops normal attacks have a 10% chance to heal a portion of the slightly wounded units, healing factor 1000. This is a huge healing factor, guys. Though it's only 10%, but 1000 healing factor. Okay, Richard's healing factor is 1400, so this is like almost 2/3 of Richard's healing, so it's actually really good and shouldn't be underestimated at all. Restores 100 rage, and this is really good as well if you're going for a rage engine build like Genghis Khan. Okay, I'll go more into that later. Effect can only trigger once every 5 seconds. Okay, and his expertise skill, increase Emperor Wu of Wei. Okay, increases cavalry attack by 25% but decreases cavalry defense by 10%. So you're actually still getting a 15% buff to your total cavalry stats, which is really nice. Now, last time the cavalry attack increase wasn't as much. I can't remember the exact number, and it didn't use to decrease the cavalry defense. I would have preferred the previous round, what it was previously, simply because you didn't get a debuff on yourself. But the fact that you get a higher cavalry attack, I guess it makes Cao Cao more specialized towards dealing out high amounts of damage, which can be a pro and can be a con, really depends on how you look at it. Okay, so let's go into the talent build for Cao Cao, and in my opinion, there is literally only one build for Cao Cao. For Cao Cao, you don't really want to use him for rallies because of his mobility tree right here. It doesn't serve any purpose at all. Okay, and of course peacekeeping is useless for rallies, and open field is not that great as well because you would rather have someone like Minamoto or Genghis Khan with a skill tree, or Saladin with a support tree, which is more useful when it comes to open field. For Cao Cao, open field, like I said earlier, he's only good as an arc carrier because of his speed, and secondly a farm killer because once again because of his speed as well. Okay, so this is the talent build that you want to use for Cao Cao, and this talent build gives you the highest amount of march speed inside of the game currently. You pair him with a expertise Genghis Khan, not expertise, a Genghis Khan that has his second skill maxed, and you have the fastest possible march inside of the game. That is assuming you have minimum VIP 14. I think that's where the 5% march speed comes in. You are running your Ottoman civilization, you get another extra march speed, and of course you get a rune, and with T1 troops you will get the fastest march speed in the game. If you want to cap your obelisk, the fastest in arc, that is what you should be using. Okay, so this skill tree right here, when you are out of combat, it gives you the maximum amount of march speed. For peacekeeping, you are sacrificing quite a lot of points to get this here, but march speed increased by 9%. You can't ignore this, so it's definitely worth to pick it up. You've picked up every single march speed talent that you can pick up from all of his three skill trees right here. Okay, so let's see here. Yep, that's all of these skill trees. Here you get an extra 6%, you definitely want to pick that up. Here you get another 6%, so it's 12%. And on top of that, if you have been reduced to less than 50% strength, you get another march speed increase by 30%. The only skill that you didn't really pick up is of course some from the mobility tree and some from and this from the cavalry tree. Now I explain why you don't want to pick these up. This one, normal troop attacks have a 10% chance to increase march speed by 5% for the next 2 seconds. If you are chasing down someone, you should pick up this equestrian excellence. But if you want to like if you're using him for farm killing, then I will pick this up. But if you're using him for an arc carrier, then you want to pick up swiftness. So it depends on what build you want your what you want to build your Cao Cao for. Okay, the difference is very minimal. It's literally between swiftness, the 2 points in swiftness or 2 points in equestrian excellence. Everything else stays the exact same. Okay, so if you want him to be an arc carrier, then pick up swiftness, because as an arc carrier you'll be running away from your opponents, and when he's hit by skill damage, that means that his march speed will increase. However, if you're building him to kill farms, then you want this because you Cao Cao will be the one on the offense, he will be the one attacking, and this will give you a march speed boost for you to catch any marchers that might be running away from you. All of this really good skill damage reduction. We'll take that since it's along the way. And of course here you have another march speed of 6%, you definitely want to pick that up. Okay, here you get a flat march speed of 6%, pick that up as well. And hasty departure, one of the most important talents inside of the mobility tree. Every time you hop from structure to structure, your march speed increases by a huge 60% for the next 10 seconds. This is why Cao Cao is so good for hopping between structures, because of this 60% march speed increase. This basically allows you to catch any march inside of the game except for maybe another Cao Cao march. So definitely you want to pick this up. This spiked armor is definitely good to pick up along the way. Now, triumphant march, this one I think it's not that great because you need to defeat an army. Most of the time you'll be doing a lot of chasing, and you probably won't be chasing one army to the next army, so I think this is quite limited in its usefulness, so I would avoid picking this up. Next up will be time management. Increases march speed of all troops by 2% when not in combat, but decreases march speed by 2% in combat. Honestly, this is really good for arc carrying and farm killing, but you have to spend so many talent points to get that. Like, you need to get this 2, that's 5 total, and this is quite useless. This one, alacrity, another 3 points. You have a 10% chance to resist enemy slow effects. Honestly, not that great in my opinion, so I would skip this altogether. So you're wasting a total of 8 points just to get time management, and time management is another 5 points in itself, so you have to spend 13 talent points total to get time management. and you can get like maximum 10% march speed outside of combat through time management, that is honestly not worth 13 talent points. I would rather you spend it elsewhere on these 6% march speed, this 9% march speed here and whatnot, which is way easier to get in my opinion. So yeah, and for peacekeeping, you also get another 6% march speed right here, which is why you want to pick up thoroughbreds, because total you get 15% march speed from the peacekeeping talent tree. No, not 15%, 18% march speed from the peacekeeping talent tree. So you definitely want to go this route. Now, Cao Cao, in my opinion, he's too important of a commander to be used as a bug killer, because you are wasting so much potential. He is by far the fastest march that you can get inside the game outside of combat, so I will not waste his talents on something like barbarian killing, okay? And he's also one of the first commanders that you can get inside of your daily tree chest. So if you are a small spender or a medium spender, then you should definitely buy those chests, because you want to max out Cao Cao. He's really useful. And now let us go through the pairings for Cao Cao. Okay, first pairing, you can pair him with Minamoto. If you're doing open field, then you want to put Minamoto as the primary commander, so he does, because of his skill talent tree. Then you put Cao Cao as your secondary commander. That is a really standard build, and honestly it works really well in KVK season 1. Even afterwards, it's still a really good build if you're a light or low spender, because Cao Cao is quite easy to get, and Minamoto is one of the cheapest legendary commanders that you can max out. So Minamoto primary with a Cao Cao secondary is a very standard build that many people use. Even a lot of whales, they still probably use this build if they don't have Genghis or Saladin maxed. So really good. Next thing, you can pair him with Genghis Khan. Genghis primary with Cao Cao secondary. It basically makes your entire march completely paper. So if you get targeted, which Genghis Khan always gets targeted in open field, you will just melt. But before you melt, you can dish out a super large amount of damage. Cao Cao, you get this Rage Restoration 100, which really synergizes extremely well with Genghis Khan, because of his low rage requirement and his machine gunning of his skills. On top of that, you get the 40% attack reduction to enemies, so that they don't deal as much damage to your Genghis Khan, though that isn't really that significant because everything will just be targeting Genghis Khan anyways. But on top of that, you get a 30% cavalry attack bonus and another 25%, so 55% extra attack bonus. You take that into consideration when you add it to this skill right here. And he's machine gunning skills out every single second, almost every single second. So the damage that you can do with Genghis Khan Cao Cao is crazy, but of course zero tankiness whatsoever. So be prepared for that march to die off. But if you just want to go in there, hit hard, then yep, this is the march to go. Alright, the next pairing that you can pair him with is actually Pelagius. Cao Cao primary with Pelagius secondary. Pelagius also has a heal, and this combined with the stat boost that you get right here, which is huge. On top of that, you also get Cao Cao's attack reduction debuff. This gives your Cao Cao Pelagius march very a lot of tankiness. And you might think that Cao Cao is paper because of his expertise skill reduction of defense by 10%, but this 15% defense from Pelagius more than makes up for it. So you can circumvent Cao Cao's debuff on his last expertise skill through the use of Pelagius, and end up you will actually get a really tanky cavalry march. Okay, so for free-to-play players who only have one commander max, or low spenders who only have Cao Cao max, then you can pair him with Pelagius. Next up, we can pair him with Belisarius. Actually, Belisarius is more for farm killing. You can choose to put Belisarius primary and Cao Cao secondary, or the other way around. Honestly, both of them use the same skill tree, so it doesn't make a difference at all in my opinion. Okay, and Belisarius is with Cao Cao is perfect for farm killing, because you increase your march speed by 50% for 10 seconds after leaving the battle. This is absolutely amazing, and you can of course pair them together for your arc carrier as well, which is what a lot of people do. Bebas, you can pair him with that, though it's not such a good combination in my opinion. Okay, Lancelot, you can do that also, but again, not recommended. Most people usually have at least one, if not all, of the purple commanders max, so there is no reason to pair him with a blue commander. You can pair him with your Dragon Lancer also, but again, not that recommended because you rather go purple commanders as opposed to green or blue commanders. Now, you can pair him with Saladin also. That gives him quite a lot of tank. You want Saladin to be primary and Cao Cao secondary. It's not such a popular pairing, and in my opinion, it's definitely worse than all of the other pairings I mentioned before. But if you don't have any other choice, then you can pair Saladin with Cao Cao, though I wouldn't recommend it that much. You can also pair him with Takeda. That gives him a bit of tank because of Takeda's skill right here, and you can couple that really nicely with Cao Cao's healing. But Cao Cao is more of skill damage, not so much of normal attack damage, so it's not such a good pairing. Okay, so Takeda and Saladin, not such a good pairing for Cao Cao. Alright, lastly, you can also pair him with Aquila. I don't have Aquila right here. I don't even have his picture because he is still like a few more, like 1 to 2 more months before Aquila comes to our kingdom. But with Aquila, I think he's a good secondary to Aquila, better than with Takeda or Saladin because of his 55% attack increase. You pair that with your Aquila and you can get huge amounts of damage as well. Of course, Aquila paired with Takeda is the golden pair that you want ideally, but if you don't have Takeda is a wheel commander, then you can consider pairing him with Cao Cao. Still a very good pair nonetheless, and you guys should definitely try it out and let me know the results. So that is it for this Cao Cao commander guide. Let me know if this guide has helped you, and if you like this sort of videos, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more of such future content. Till the next time, I'm your host Caravan Gaming. Peace out.